There is a land hidden between Rome and Tuscany where everything is very reasonably priced, but history, tradition, people, really people, are fantastic.
Pom, pom, pom. Via. Pronti. E questo è un inno al vino.
You can easily buy for what you can get, maybe a garage in Chicago, New York, or Los Angeles, a little piece of paradise with fireplace and with a garden. A lovely place where you grow older or you send your friends and family. Please check us out. Good evening, good evening. Tonight, unfortunately, we don't have our usual part. Walt Bianchi is stranded in the middle of the street, the road rather, and he cannot really get online and join us. This is very bad because we love having him, and he actually loves this kind of podcast. But let me jump on a much more positive news. So let me introduce you to the borgo we are talking about tonight. It's called Bassano in Teverina. Please take a look. I don't want to spoil it. It's a fantastic view. It's serene. It's nice. It's a positive experience. There are corners everywhere that are wonderful. There is this valley of the river Tevere underneath that is fantastic. You can turn around and see a medieval spot, then maybe 90 degrees, and you see this infinite valley. Really fantastic. But let me get my special guest, like every time. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Mr. Roy Hafner. Hey, Roy, good evening. How are you, my friend?
I'm pretty good. Nice to see you again.
Oh, that's always nice to see you. I'm sorry that we do not get to meet because I'm in Viterbo, you are in Villa. We both do not have a car, so we have to suffer.
I have two cars.
You have two cars, so you have no excuses.
No.
Okay, so tonight we are going to miss Walt and his fantastic insight, but let's try to make the best out of it. So it turns out that you actually know Bassano in Teverina. What's your memory of the city?
Well, I know of it because, as you know, my wife Rita is an artist, and they have a wonderful little artist community there. There's I don't know exactly the name of the location, but it's in the old part of the city, and there's several shops with artists, and they have events, and it's really great, really nice. So I have been there probably about a half a dozen times.
So the city is two parts. There is the old part, medieval part, and then there is the new part. In the medieval part, there is this artist community. Artists, artisan, many people have little fantastic things for tourists and not only. And yes, there are many art exhibits going on pretty much all the time. Yes.
Yeah, it's a very interesting. One of the events I attended was a guy who knew the history of the area, and since we're all in Tuscia, which is the Etruscan area, it's very close to. It's the most northern part of Lazio, and right next across the river, the Tiber, is Umbria. So historically, it's got some fantastic history there. It's just unbelievable. So you can go, just going there and learning that is great. So
Actually, let me add one little piece of history. So there is a river underneath. It's called Vladimonio. It's sorry, a lake that is kind of a little bit borderline too much, in the sense there are so many tragic and evil and scary story about it. But in particular, it's connected to a fantastically big battle between the Etruscan forces and the Roman forces, and the Roman killed so many of them that it's said that the blood went to the river, the Tevere River. Tevere goes to Rome, and Plinio il Vecchio, the old Plinio, he was a famous writer in the old Rome, wrote that the Tevere, the river, changed its color because of the battle. It became red. That's kind of tragic.
yeah, and that little lake there, again, very historic. It's a very unusual lake, and it's got like hot springs, and the water is white, and there's these floating islands. And the Romans, when they took over, it was such a special lake that the soldiers used to dip their swords in the lake to make them invisible. So there's a lot of that kind of history there. You know, it's really,
I don't know if you know, it looks like you know more than I do, but a few people from Ukraine were spotted a few years ago there because of the impending war with Russia. They knew it was going to happen, so they came to make their guns or whatever touch the water to bring them good luck.
yeah,
It is still going on.
yeah. So,
So that is fantastic. So let's not talk about tragic.
no.
So I have a question for you. You are sort of an expert. You have been living here for 15 years. And of course, you like to be connected with the world and, to get your produce and everything. In other words, you like old and new at the same time. So if you were to choose in Bassano, there is the very old part and there is the new part. Where would you live?
Well, that's tough. First, one of the things I learned about the old part is that in 1943 there was a German ammunition train in the train station, and it blew up, and it blew up the entire old part of the city, and the people had to move out and create the new part of the city. I was kind of surprised about that. You don't see that today. The old part of the city is still there, but that's true of a lot of the villages. The old, like our village, Villa San Giovanni in Tuscia, we have the old center, but the majority of people now live in newer houses up on the hills, but the old part of Bassano is great, and there's some ancient ruins there, that predate the village itself. So I don't know. First of all, I don't like I wouldn't like living in the center of some of these old villages because they're kind of dark, and I like to have a yard. So, for instance, where we live about 500 meters from the center of our village, and but we have it's a small house, but we have a yard, and we have plants and we have animals, and so we like to have a yard. so
Maybe,
there,
maybe the new part.
yeah, probably, but not new, not new.
Well, the story you are telling about the old city and the German train, it's completely true, and that's what happened. But in the last few years, let's say maybe 10, there is this mayor, his name is Alessandro Romolo. He's very, very capable of finding funds. So 1 year you go there and you see a ruin, the next year you go back and boom, the building is up again.
No, the old part of the city is in great shape. I mean, where the artist colony is, for instance, it's like a 6-story old stone building, which is turned into beautiful public housing.
That's correct.
Yeah,
That's
and but the walls and the houses, there's nothing wrecked there. It's all in great shape. So it's
So let me give you a few information about Bassano. So Bassano is almost towards Umbria, but it's not really Umbria. It's still Lazio, but it's not too far away from Umbria. It's only 12 kilometers, so maybe 8 miles from the A1, the tollway, and it's only 20 minutes from Viterbo with a beautiful way to go. The hospital that is the same of Viterbo is only 27 kilometers, something like less than 20 miles, right? So again, maybe 25, 30 minutes, something like that at most. But in this particular case, it's also fun because it's not even 50 miles from the sea and 60 miles at most from this nearest slope. So if you live in Bassano, you can decide in the same morning whether to go to the slope or to the sea, depending on the season. And finally, it's not even 90 kilometers, so maybe 60, 55K miles to Rome, and maybe, I don't know, 80 miles from Fiumicino, but everything with beautiful way to go. So I think is seriously centrally located. Would you agree?
It is, and it's very close to Orte. And from Orte, you can catch the trains,
A1.
right? Yeah. So no,
The
it's very,
train, everything, yeah.
from where I live. It's only a 40-minute drive to go there.
Sure. It's and beautiful street as well, no? Because there is this I think it's a freeway that takes you basically to 1 kilometer from it, or actually very close. So no problem. Okay, so another type of question. We don't have Walt to tell us something about loans and buying and so forth. But let me ask you a real estate question, nevertheless. So in Bassano, you can easily buy a terracello, that is a building, a freestanding, from the ground all the way to the roof, for maybe 100,000 euro. Or you can buy a beautifully nicely done new apartment for maybe 80,000 euro. So I think these are very competitive prices. But let me ask you this question: regardless of how beautiful the place is, would you obviously look for a garden first, for a fireplace, for amenities that make you feel special instead of something nice and modern?
Well, I checked out one of the real estate sites on the housing there, and the prices go from 20,000. The one I really liked was 1,300,000. But it was in the countryside, beautiful countryside, beautiful property, and a wonderful pool. So if I had the money, I'd like to have a swimming pool.
Sure,
So
why not? Why not?
great number of places for sale at all the different price ranges. So anybody looking, for a home in that area, there's many different options, and again, the prices. I looked at a lot of the pictures and stuff, and for what you get, the prices are, compared to anywhere in the States, the prices are ridiculous. So I mean, the loft that I used to live in Brooklyn is now $800,000, and this is just a loft.
Oh yeah.
And so I'd rather have the $1 million house in the countryside with a swimming pool.
Oh yeah. But you know what? I don't know about you, Roy, but I'm getting old. I'm getting lazy. I don't want to clean. I don't want to warm up a huge place. I'm very, very happy with a place that is only 500 square feet.
Well, that's the house that I live in. We live in a relatively small house, but it's very easy to maintain. It has everything that we need. I have a fireplace. I have a nice garden. I have a nice back, area with a nice table and umbrellas, and park my cars inside the gate. So my house, as you can see behind me, the fireplace.
Sure,
I
sure.
have a I have a picture in front of it, but so my house for me is perfect. You know, when I talk about the swimming pool, yeah, I like to have a swimming pool, but that big house that came with it, I don't think so. It's too much maintenance.
I have to tell you, I'm biased because when I was young, I was I guess, a pool caretaker. So I had to deal with the acid, the crap, and stuff, and it's not fun. Keeping a pool running is not fun. It's better to pay a ticket and go and come back. Trust me.
Well, the first house that I bought, Julio, was in Evanston, Illinois, north of Chicago. It had 16 rooms, had 54 windows, and I don't think so. And it took me, every night I'd work. I'd get home from work at 7, and I'd work till 2 in the morning fixing it up. No, I don't need that. I like
I agree. I agree.
I like my little house here. So.
Okay, so we have a little time today because we are alone. Tell us a little bit about the event that take place in your neck of the wood, which is very similar in many ways to Bassano and Teverina, where there is the Sagra, there is the traditional event, and there is Tuscia and Fiore, and so forth. So tell us a little bit about this event and how do you feel about it?
Well, as I said before, we have a lot of events. For instance, we soon, like on the 15th, I think it is, we have a gymnasium attached to the school here, a large gymnasium, and we're having a beautiful roller skating exhibition. There's a roller skating club in Viterbo that practices in our gym, and they're fantastic. I mean, it's all girls, from age of like 6 up till in their early 20s, and they're unbelievable. So we'll get several hundred people showing up for that. We have a wonderful horse spectacular show. We had it here in August. We had 2,000 people come for that for the beginning of Lent. What do you call that? Mardi Gras.
The last day of the carnival, it's called Mardi Gras. The first day is called Mercoledì delle Ceneri, Ash Wednesday.
Oh, we have a huge parade of people build these fantastic things. I mean, unbelievable, and they parade through the village, and we get maybe 1,000 people for that.
Roy, instead of telling us about a specific event, tell us what you feel. I mean, you are an American living abroad. What do you feel during the event? How do you see yourself? How do you like having all those people around? In other words, Bassano is similar, and if somebody had to buy some place in Bassano, how would they feel?
Well, those are, we're talking maybe 10 or 12 days out of the 365. This village, again, is I love this village. This is my home. And but talk about convenient. We have people from our village. They commute to Rome on a daily basis, so it's very easy to get to Rome from here. But it's a very laid back village. The people are very nice. Everybody here is polite, of course, as Italians are. We have a couple of restaurants, so if you want to go out, you don't have to drive off to Veitral or Viterbo. We have 4 bars. Bars meaning.
Okay, Roy, I understand you don't want to tell me how you feel during the event. Fine, no problem. Okay, so give me a general idea. Are you, of course, your wife is there, but are you very happy you moved to Italian countryside?
Yeah, I'm extremely happy. I've told you before that my prior life was living in Chicago, New York, the Bahamas, and here. I move 4 times a year. Okay. Now I only live here. and I'm perfectly happy. Do I miss New York and Chicago and the Bahamas? No. I'm perfectly happy here. You know, if I was in New York, I'd be happy in New York, but I'm happy here. And a lot of it, you know, one of the things that makes life easier is the internet. I can stay in touch, you know, with everybody in America. Like you know, sometimes I talk to you, you're in Santa Monica. So the internet makes life a lot easier, I find. So no matter where you are, if you have the internet, you can be, you know, wherever you want to be. So
Okay, so let's change topic. So in the little video I showed at the beginning, it's only 75 seconds. There was so much to notice, and there were a bunch of ruins. They are pre-Roman.
Yeah.
One is it's called the La Piramide, the Pyramid of Bomarzo, and one is called Sasso Quadro, the square rock, and so forth. And you told me in the past that one thing that you find remarkable is that wherever you go in Tuscia, you find very, very much to think or to notice about history and the traces that they left for us.
Well, it's you know, for an American, it's unbelievable. You know, within walking distance of my house, say a kilometer, there's an ancient pre-Roman, pre-Etruscan goddess temple. If that was in the United States, it would be a world famous site. Here, nobody ever goes to it. You know, we have another place a few kilometers away called Norcia, and a group of us cleaned that site up. It was completely covered with vegetation. It's like 7,000 years old, or some amazing number of years old, and it was a meeting place for different tribes that would come together once a year. So, and there's when I drive over to play golf in Tarquinia, there's viaducts everywhere. You know, whenever somebody comes to visit me and we just drive around, they go, "Oh my God, look at that! It's unbelievable."
And Bassano is the same, and there is a lot of Roman ruins. There are a lot of Roman ruins. There is a lot from whatever time, and it's a lot of fun to go around and to discover. We're working on a little path that connects three villages around there because we want to copy the El Camino dei Tre Villaggi, the walk of the three villages that you guys have, because I think it's great. It's fun.
Yeah, it's quite a walk. It's like 27 kilometers.
That's right.
It's a lot of fun.
But it's doable in one day. I think it's a lot of fun. Okay, yeah. Roy, it's, believe it or not, it's 25 minutes already went. So we are towards the end. So once again, all kind of prices. If anybody wants to buy something in Bassano in Teverina, you can spend $20 as well as you can spend 1 million. It's close to everything within not even 200 miles. You can reach Florence. Actually, it's much less, 150 miles. So it's really like, I don't know, 2 hours by car to get to Florence, and everything else is much nearer. I think it's a fantastic place to invest. And if things keep going the way they're going with art, with Tuscia Fiore, with event and so forth, I think even Bassano is going to grow to be a much more vibrant city. So my personal recommendation is buy and enjoy Bassano. What's your personal recommendation?
My recommendation is buy and enjoy Villa San Giovanni in Tuscia. And today I checked out the real estate in the village. There's 21 properties for sale. They go from 13,000 to 100. The most expensive is 120,000. And for 120,000 in this village, you get a pretty nice place, believe me.
So, Roy, Italians complain that they are campanilistic, which means they feel everything around their own city. It feels like you follow them. Now you are Italian.
Well, I am. I consider myself a man of the world, but certainly this is my village. I don't ever plan to live anywhere else. I can tell you that.
Of course.
You live a very nice life here for a very reasonable sum of money. So.
Oh yeah, that is what I find amazing. You have this fantastic quality of life for definitely less than what you spend in any other place in the US.
Tomorrow morning, for instance, I'll walk 300 meters down the street to my friend's farm, and I will buy an unbelievable amount of fresh vegetables. When I say fresh, we go out in the field and he picks it. You know, when I say I want broccoli, he goes out and he picks it, or leeks, or whatever it is. And for 20 euros, I'll get, a week and a half, 2 weeks worth of vegetables right down the street.
I just noticed something. You call him friend.
Yeah.
We wouldn't call anybody we buy from in America our friend.
Mario,
What changed?
Well, Mario, he's a village guy, and he built this beautiful farm, and he's my friend. My local gas station guy, Mauro, is my friend. My butcher, Filippo, is my friend. He came here for Thanksgiving. My next door neighbors have the restaurant, but they're my next door neighbors, and they're my friends. So everybody, anything you buy here in the village, you're buying from a friend. Eleonora has a wonderful hardware store. You can get anything there. She has anything, but she's a friend. So
your life changed.
Yeah, it's different. It's not like going to Publix or something.
So once again, yes to Italy, yes to moving to Italy, yes?
Yeah, and even the bigger stores that we go to, that I go to, I know all the people in the store, and they know me, so it's nice.
That's a very personable type of life. Okay, yeah. Roy, it has been fun as always. Thank you very much for your availability for me. And tonight it was Bassano and Teverina. Next month, who knows, we will check something else out. But thank you again. It was fun as always. Roy, good evening, and say hi to your beautiful wife.
All right.
Bye, Roy.
Bye. See ya.
Regista, com'è andata oggi?
Bene, benissimo, come sempre. Ci vediamo alla prossima, Giulio.
Dalla Tuscia